I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but man, is this game good. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the Board Initiative. Today I'll be reviewing Marvel Champions for you. And let me start with a quick overview. Basically, you're going to be picking a hero, of which there's a lot. There's a lot of Marvel heroes. So if you are a Marvel fan, you probably already know about this game. And for those of you that maybe aren't that into Marvel like me, this is still an awesome game. And you'll pick one of your heroes, you'll construct your deck of 40 to 50 cards. There's pre-constructed ones if you are lazy. And then you'll pick a villain, and each villain comes with its associated kind of like objectives that it's trying to complete. And your goal is essentially to beat the villain, get his HP down to 0. Meanwhile, making sure that he doesn't complete whatever objective he is trying to accomplish and not kill you. If he kills you, the game is over. In terms of theme, the theme here is extremely strong. If you want to feel like your favorite Marvel hero taking down a villain of your choice, this is a great game to do that in. Each hero feels very unique, and it feels like how you would expect that hero to play. I think Fantasy Flight did a wonderful job with each of these heroes, or most of them. For instance, Spider-Man will focus a lot on like stunning enemies, and he has his web shooters, which he can use to get get resources, which is basically how you're going to be playing these cards. Each villain plays really unique too, from what I've experienced. Some focus on like weapon upgrades, like Crossbones. Some of them focus more on like generating minions, like Ultron. Really, really cool stuff here. Each hero is also going to have their own particular nemesis set that they'll use that can get added to the villain deck, and basically you'll have to, fight a different kind of minion. All right, let's talk about the components. Honestly, there's not a lot to talk about here. It's just a bunch of cards mostly. The card quality is good. I recommend sleeving the cards just to make shuffling easier. But other than that, it's good. These health counter tokens, counters or whatever you call them, these are really good. They stick in place. I know with like something like Gloomhaven Jaws Line, something that annoyed me was that they would slide all over the place and wouldn't stay put. But these, you really need to apply some pressure on, which is awesome. Overall, it's good for what it is. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's a card game. So yeah, that's that. All right, moving on to gameplay, the meat and potatoes. Gameplay is phenomenal in this game. It is really satisfying to take on these villains, and basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to grab your hero deck, and you're going to draw up to your hand size. Each particular hero has their own hand size here. So you'll draw to the hand size, and what you'll be doing is you're going to be playing these cards, and you'll discard however many cards to pay for the card that you want to activate, and you'll play it. But what makes this really cool is that when you're in hero form, which is Spider-Man, the villain, he will attack you and you will lose HP. But if you're running low on HP or something, you can flip to your citizen, your identity, and basically instead of attacking you, the villain will scheme, and he'll be accomplishing his objective. So he'll add, a certain amount of threat to the scheme. And then you'll heal up, and then you'll flip back to the hero side to further attack the villain. So it's a very satisfying way to play, and it's very strategic. So you got to pick when you want to attack and when you want to, heal, and you got to, monitor how much threat is on the scheme at all times. If it goes to the last stage and all the threat is applied, whatever is on the top of the card will advance. So once it reaches the end, so this, for instance, is 5 per player. So if it's 5 threat gets put on that scheme, it's game over. So it's just really satisfying to play. And the fact that when the villain attacks, it's going to be different every time, because when the villain attacks, he's going to boost first. He's going to attack, and he's going to flip a card. And depending on the symbol on the bottom card, that's how much damage he's going to do. And then after that, he's going to do a treachery card, which will basically put an additional like scheme, or a minion will come into play to fight you. And it's great because you don't really know what's going to happen, and I love that. And like every encounter I've played has been different. I mean, I played versus Rhino. He's like the standard enemy, but I played him like 5 times, each with a different hero, and it was a lot of fun each time. I didn't have any complaints that it felt like, oh, I'm doing the same thing over and over again, especially if you play with a different hero. So it's a really, really great gameplay loop. And like I said, even if you're not a fan of Marvel, like this is just it's really, really, really satisfying. In terms of ideal player count, I would recommend playing this game at 1 or 2 players. This plays wonderful solo, either two-handed, you're playing two heroes, or true solo, which is just one hero versus the villain. I think I prefer true solo just because it's quicker. You don't get the kind of interaction between the 2 heroes, but it's still a lot of fun. And 2 players is great. It's fun, especially if you're playing with someone that's into the Marvel theme, or he's into like deck building or deck construction games. Then I think that'd be a good person to play with. I've played it at 3, but unfortunately I felt like it took too long. I was playing with 2 new players actually that never played the game before, and that was a mistake. We ended up being a little bit late to a brunch that I had scheduled. So, but it was still fun. So it was long, but it was a lot of fun, and they both came away a fan of the game. So if you have the time, then I would recommend it. I haven't played with 4, but I would imagine with 4 people it can get very long, because you're basically multiplying each turn by 4, right? Because each character has to go. So, but still, it's good though if you have the time. The next category is ease of learning. So how easy it is to learn this game, the setup, teardown. Overall, very easy to get into this game. Fantasy Flight had a wonderful little learn to play guide that comes in the core box, which you'll need to get if you want to dip your toes into it. And this basically goes through everything that you need to play the game. And also, if I ever got stuck, there's a wonderful community on BGG. Just basically type your question in Google and you will find an answer to it. I haven't had one question where I got stumped and had to like kind of house rule it. So yeah, very easy to learn and teach. The setup is quick. You're just, you're putting the cards out on the table. The one thing is that because there's so many cards and so many like heroes and villains and decks, you're gonna need good organization. Fantasy Flight does not provide any. It's basically they just give you like a bucket of a box and you put your cards in there. So I would invest in some kind of dividers or something, or deck boxes to hold your heroes and villains in if you get really into the game. All right, let's move on to fun factors. So fun factor is how much fun did I have playing this game at the end of everything? From setup to teardown, was it worth the time I put in? And yeah, the fun factor is very high with this one. Every time I play, I enjoy it. I have a blast. I love seeing like all the different combinations of things that could happen and what the villain could do, as well as like what kind of cards come out and the different combinations that can occur. Also, if you're playing campaign mode, then you get rewards that get added to your deck, and there's like a whole little story that you can go through. I think one of them is like the Infinity Gauntlet, and you fight Thanos, which is super cool. Really, really like it. Very fun game. So overall, if you can't guess, my score is it's a must-have. This is a really good game that I would recommend to anybody. I don't see this leaving my collection anytime soon. I have so much content I still have to go through, to be honest. So, very, very good game, and yeah, definitely go out and grab it and pick it up. It's not that expensive either. I think, if you're lucky, you could get the core for like $40, and then you can get these expansions on sale. I got them for like $30 each, so it's not too bad. Yeah, pick it up. Great game.